Well, we had a whole row of, I don't remember, psychiatrists and psychologists, and looking at different medications, to me encouraging medication changes because it wasn't doing anything, to multiple different inpatient stays where it was all about different styles of structure, different styles of communicating and planning a child's day and having them participate in the plans. And we'd implement that, and often it would work for like 2 weeks or a week. And that was hard too, because then it's like, well, maybe this is it. Maybe this time we've got it. And then it would degrade again. And I think it was him figuring it out. And, I think it caught him off guard when something changed. But then when he figured it out, then he went back to figuring out how he could manipulate and control the situation. And then, you'd go back and we'd say it's not working. And then, not in all cases, but in some cases, it's like, well, maybe you're doing it wrong. Or there's questioning about that, right?
And that when everybody's telling you, well, you must not be doing it right, is
right. Or
it's a little overwhelming.
Or he'd go in.
In what I would almost say, mental health is such a hidden disease that people don't understand it. People don't talk about it because you're embarrassed. Especially when your son is beating up on you, and he's only, he's not even a teenager yet. Our son is 12. And he's doing these things to his mom, and he's destroying, rooms, and he's destroying his things. And to tell people that you just don't do it because it's embarrassing, and people question you as a parent, questioning what you're doing. I didn't talk about it to anybody. Not even my closest friends knew what we were going through. So to be able to find a place that understood what was going on and that understood this RADS thing and wasn't afraid to say, this is what it is. And this is what you need to do.
But it's really hard to understand.
And
right?
it is hard to understand.
It is so...
It's not your typical thought of what...
Right. So I'm a very logical person, and I fix things for a living, and I wanted to approach it, and it's like, well, there should be a path, and it's medical, and you get a diagnosis, and you fix it right. And this is not that. And, until we found the Institute, there's basically, like Cindy was saying, the doctors didn't even want to talk about it, because it was like this death sentence. Like, there's if it's that, then we're dead, and then it's hopeless. And then when you talk about it and you try to explain it to somebody, it is so illogical that I don't know that we even fully understand it, right? The outbursts and violence against mom, or the trying to control things like we were talking about earlier, to the point of I'd rather be violent and go to the hospital than go to the amusement park, is so unfathomable.
Claire, I called and talked to Claire the first time on the phone. Obviously we weren't both on the phone. I was on the phone, and I was explaining to it, and she said something, and I just started bawling. And just to even hear the office person say, "I know what you're talking about, Cindy," I was just like, "Wow, this is where we need to go." I got off the phone and said to Brian, "We need to check this place out." The office lady was like, "Yeah," and I'd say something, and she'd like finish my sentences because she knew what I was going to say next of what our son was doing to us. And I was like, "Yeah, we need to get there. When can we get there? Okay, dial quickly. Let's make an appointment. When can we get to see Forrest?"
Right.